Do you use video feedback in your classroom? Because video killed the radio star. Video feedback is such a powerful tool, and I'm excited to share with you today about video feedback. I'm Dr. April Debord. Let's get started. You can pause the video here to check out how these digital learning competencies line up with this presentation. Standard 1 learner, Standard 4 collaborator, and Standard 5 designer. The purpose of this session is to help you start or continue killing the feedback game with video. Explore engaging strategies for connections and dynamic engagement using tools like Loom and others to give students personalized feedback that saves time and creates an amazing collaborative class culture. I hope that you are able to have success because we will be reflecting on our ability to effectively integrate that video feedback for your student or your stakeholders and its impact on their engagement and learning. This year at NCBOLD, we've designed think sheets for you to use as you watch the presentations. So you can click on this link here to get your think sheet and make a copy by clicking on File, Make a Copy. I'm April Debord, and I'm so excited that you're here to hang out with me today to talk about video feedback. When I started giving feedback to students, it was purely just written and mostly not helpful in forming any kind of relationship or any kind of connection to the document. I'm just trying to get through as fast as I possibly can. But after teaching for several years online, I was able to start using video to connect with my students, and what a difference it made. I'm so glad you're here to hang out with us to talk about this today. Sharing personal things about yourself is difficult in class, but just finding some GIFs occasionally to share with your students or just creating a GIF story like this of things that relate to you and asking your students to do the same for themselves might be a good just connection piece for you as you continue or start your school year. One really cool method I've found for connecting and making those connections stick in class is to do some partnering strategies. So we always start with a number one partner to make a connection in the classroom. And this partner can persist throughout your classroom. You can make different types of partners, but I like this one because you just find a partner, you share a picture that means something to you for about, 1 to 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how many people you have in the group. You might have to have a group of three if you have more than just two per group. So it's a really great partnering strategy that I just wanted to share that I'll be using in my presentation. I know you can't be there with us to do it, but it's just a really great thing to have that connection throughout the year. And then you're like, hey, get with your number one partner and reflect on this, or get with your happy salmon partner. I learned these from a guy named Phil Boyd. Just a really great strategy for making connections in the classroom. So today we're going to talk about the implications of personalized feedback. We're going to explore some tools that we can use, have a collaborative discussion, and then we're going to talk about reflection and action. Here's a little quick tweet about, do you give good or bad feedback? So check it out. See if any of these feedback things resonate with you and the feedback that you give to your students or the feedback that you receive from the people who are giving you feedback. It's also good to know how to give feedback and how to receive feedback. Good feedback is specific. Bad feedback is over-exaggerated. Good feedback is timely. Bad feedback is vague or generic. Good feedback is contextualized. Bad feedback lacks tact. Good feedback is actionable. Bad feedback relies on hearsay. Good feedback starts a conversation, and bad feedback makes it personal. I'm sure we've all received feedback like this. There are some meta studies that have been done on influences in the classroom. And here's a barometer of the influence. If it usually scores above a zero point 0.4, it's in the zone of desired effects in our classroom. So typical effects of teachers on students that can be accomplished in a year of teaching are less than 4, but we want to do something that is even more in that zone of desired effects. In D here, we see what students could achieve without schooling from 0 to zero point 0.5, and then below is a decrease in achievement. So when we're looking at strategies in our classroom, we want to try to be in that greater than 0.4 section. So John Hattie's done some research on classroom strategies that are in this zone of desired effects, and feedback is actually right above 0.70, which is actually quite a bit of growth that we can provide for students. The typical effects are those 0.2 to 0.4 effects, but if we can get here with our feedback, we can actually help students grow even more than they would in a typical year. That's kind of an amazing thing that we could provide for students and also our coachees. If you're a coach, if you are a principal, you can provide feedback that's quality. You can help people grow. And I love that research that has gone into those meta studies. Another great thing to remember when we're giving feedback is we want to be encouraging. Terrific, nice job using a partner strategy. So we're not just being positive, we're actually saying the reason why we liked what the person is doing. So we want to do encouraging 4 to 1. So every 4 good things you say, you want to say one thing that the student can improve upon, because we want to focus on those positive things when we're doing coaching, when we're doing grading for our students, when we're reaching out to people. Those are just really encouraging things to do. We don't want to just do the fluff, right? We want to say terrific, nice job, but we also want to say the reason why it was a great job. And when we are giving our feedback that's questioning, instructive, or corrective, we want to be specific with that and we want to be timely. So if you were here with us in the classroom, I would be asking you to draw a butterfly right now. I want you to recreate this butterfly. I'm not going to give you long. I'm just going to give you about 3 to 5 minutes. So you can pause this video, take a few minutes to draw a picture of this butterfly as best you can, a scientific eye drawing of this butterfly. And it's going to go with our next video. When we watch the video, it's going to show the implications of personalized feedback in a way that I had never seen them before. This is a video called Austin's Butterfly. Maybe you've seen it before, but it's just a powerful tool to help us see how feedback can actually help us grow. Positive feedback and feedback that is specific and timely and not generic or vague. So I'm excited to share the video with you. I hope you enjoy.
What would you guys say to teachers if they're not getting high quality work? Could they learn something from this, and what would you say to them that they could do differently in their classrooms?
This is a story called Austin's Butterfly, and it's a true story about a first grade boy, and his name is Austin, and he goes to school, or used to go to school, in a town called Boise, Idaho. And in his class in Boise, Idaho, they were studying butterflies, and he had to do a project. His job in first grade was to draw a butterfly, and this is the butterfly that he picked. Austin had to use this photograph as his model, and he had to draw an accurate scientific drawing of this butterfly. This is called a tiger swallowtail.
I knew it!
Can you tell, Toby, why it's called tiger?
Because it kind of has the stripes of the tiger right there.
Good. So here was Austin's job. He was supposed to do a scientific drawing of that butterfly. But remember, Austin was only in first grade. And you know what he did? He forgot to look like a scientist carefully. He got his paper and he just started to draw the image of a butterfly that he had in his head. And he wasn't looking like a scientist, and so this is what he drew.
Whoa.
It's not bad, and it is a butterfly, but does it look exactly like this?
No.
No, it doesn't yet. It doesn't look exactly like this yet. And so they didn't look at this and say, good, Austin, you're done. They said, Austin, good start. Now we can start giving you critique so you can do a second draft and make it better, and a third draft and make it better, and you can make it much, much closer to this. And he was ready to go. All of the first graders in his critique group sat on the floor like you guys are, and they decided to split their advice into 2 kinds. First, just the shape of the wings. And then when the shape was right, they'd give him advice about the pattern inside the wings. Alia, what would you say?
You can make it much pointier.
Good. These wings could be much pointier. Who else would add something? Atak, what would you say?
How about the angle? Because, not to be mean about
Yes.
the angle, it's just not exact, so...
Okay, so show me. Come on up here, talk. Show me what you would ask him to do slightly differently.
Like to make it a little longer.
Longer where? Draw
Like
where you would do it.
right there.
Okay, so pull this out longer.
Yeah.
That's very specific, Attack. Thank you. Jamila, what would you say?
It's like triangle.
Good. Jamila, I love that. So you're saying more like a triangle shape. And I agree. Well, you know what? Those first graders came up with most of those same ideas. And you know what Austin said? He said, okay, I'll go try. And he went back to his seat and he drew this.
Wow.
Does this look more like a triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he go out further, like Attack was suggesting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he add some jaggedness here,
Yes.
like Cindy? Did he get rid of that bottom thing?
Yes.
So he did listen to his friends, and he made it better. It's not perfect. Toby, what would you say?
I'd say don't put those little tail things so pointed in. I'd say put them more pointed down.
Good. Okay, and Ethan, what would you say?
I think you should make the wings like this, not like just like
Okay, he listened to his friends, and they said, this is really a lot better, Austin. That second draft really is better.
Yeah, maybe you can make a third one.
Good. Maybe he could make a third draft. And so he did this draft.
That's the third draft.
That's his third draft, Hadley. That's just right. Elijah, what do you notice there?
Well, one wing's more pointed than the other, and that side is a little bit higher than the others.
Good. Coburn?
Right here, it doesn't have the inside thing still.
Ah, okay. Needs a little bit more of that notch. So, do you think maybe he should do a fourth draft?
Yeah.
Well, that's just what he said. He said, shoot, okay, I got round again. I'll go back and do a fourth draft.
Listen.
He listened. Does it look more even like Elijah was suggesting?
Yes.
Yeah, and does it look like it's coming out a little sharper, like Cindy was suggesting? And like Attack was saying, it's a little, the angle looks a little better. So now Austin was feeling really good. He said, am I ready to add some pattern? And they said, okay, why don't you try adding some of the pattern? And he did.
He's good at it. He is so good.
And then they said, Austin, you're ready for color.
Really?
Let's look at his last draft. And what do you think? Did it come out really good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually looks way.
What do you think about how much progress he made? Attack, what would you say about his progress?
He made like a lot of progress. He persevered doing it. His friends were honest with him.
What was it about the kinds of advice that they gave that allowed him to get better each time? Hassan?
Well, they told him what was wrong about it.
Did they say it's just wrong, or were they more specific than that?
They were more specific, but they weren't mean about it.
Great. Hadley.
Made 6 drafts.
And so is that something that other kids should learn from? What should we learn from that?
We can make other drafts if it's not right.
Good. So if it's not right, you can keep doing more drafts to make it better.
You just don't use things in your head. You want to use a sharp eye.
Good. He used the eyes of a scientist. Great.
After that video, I hope you will share your takeaways with somebody, or maybe even share the video with someone, because it's a powerful, amazing look at how a student grew from the feedback that his classmates gave him. Super amazing for peer feedback, but also amazing for what you could do as a teacher. So now that we've talked about feedback, let's look at a few tools that are available to you for free. One of those is Loom, and it's one of my favorite tools. I'm excited to look at it. In class, we're going to explore this tool, Loom. It's a free screen recorder, and if you're an educator, you can click to sign up as an educator, and they will give you a free account. It's pretty amazing, and you get a lot of really great resources for you to use in your classroom. So I hope that you'll check out Loom and also sign up for that free educator discount. If I were with you in the classroom, I'd be able to show you more about how it works. But there are some tutorials that I will put links for on this website as well. A tool that I'm using today to record this is Canva. So I'm using Canva, the presentation tool, and I'm adding a video of myself by clicking on upload and record yourself. It's just a really great way for students to be able to add their voices to things, for you to be able to add feedback. If a student shares a presentation with you, you can put a video feedback in their presentation really easily as long as you have access to that presentation. So the cool thing about Canva is they're designing a lot of things for educators that we can use to connect with students, and I love that. Now, if you were in the class with me, we would be having a collaborative discussion about how they could use in their own practice video feedback for their stakeholders. So I hope that you have a chance to add to the Padlet here to share about your collaborative discussion. I've shown you two tools today, Loom and Canva, and we have this other here in the middle for things that you might know about that you can share. So as we do our collaborative discussion, please feel free to add things here to this document to give you just a feel for what you want to accomplish with these tools in your own practice. Finally, we'll do a reflection and action, what you're going to take back from this session to share with your own students, what you take back about your own receiving and giving of feedback, and just kind of thinking about those for the next school year. Finally, I'll ask participants to share their personal takeaway and an action item that they'll take with them with their number one partner. Thanks so much for joining me today. You guys are awesome, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully in person one day.